Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Wehe. I'm Director of Operations at Jade Communications. Jade is a rural communication service provider. We serve 6 counties in southern Colorado, all the way from Orfano County to Saguache and Rio Grande County in the San Luis Valley. About the service territory of about Massachusetts. So we have a lot of ground to cover. But I'm so excited you're here. Even if you're not a communications provider, please listen. There's going to be so much great content for you to chew on, to take back home, to make your brand even better, right? Our goal here is to teach you 5 ways to make your customers happy. What industry does not want to do that, right? And we just learned a little bit of lessons here from broadband. I'm joined here, my brother, and also our director of marketing at Jade, Jordan Wehe.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. And Josh, thank you for sharing this session with me. We are so excited. Our passion is to transform communities. Josh and I are both native to Alamosa. Each of us studied and lived elsewhere for 10, 15 years and found our way back here eventually, bringing ideas from other industries to Jade Communications. I am not from broadband. I actually come from the marketing space. I used to work in agencies, working on big brands. And being able to come and work at Jade and live in the San Luis Valley again has been a real treat, but even more so to see my hometown, our community transformed by the work that we do. Josh, you're also not from
No,
broadband.
I've been in the telecom industry for about 4 to 5 years, but I studied to be a pastor. I have a master's degree in theology. So that has taught me lessons to bring back into the space. But we both love broadband. It's super fun. It's super challenging. Let's dive right into our 5 ways to make your customers happy.
Awesome. So step number one is to have a vision. And that might seem really simple. You might say, Jordan, we already have a vision. Most organizations have a vision statement printed somewhere in their kitchen, in the hallway, next to a water cooler, but very few people actualize it and internalize it. If you asked a random person on the street what their personal vision statement was or their organizational vision statement, it would be hard for them to get it out. So that's the first thing we want to focus on today. If you want to delight your subscribers, if you want to make a differentiated branded experience, you have to have a vision for what that looks like. For Jade, I'll give you a quick example. It was to deliver more than a broadband connection. So make that vision measurable. I'll give you an example. In the last 60 days, we have added an advanced intrusion prevention system that protects every Jade Wi-Fi subscriber in their home. In those last 60 days, we've been able to save the San Luis Valley from over 5,000 web threats, intrusions, and viruses. That's amazing on its own, but even more so considering the contextual environment that we're all living in, right? This is a virtual world. There's pandemic. Folks are sick. They're trying to go to their doctor, do remote school. How awful would it be if you got a virus or if someone hacked your credit card data or stole your social security number? No. Part of our vision is to deliver more to our subscribers. And one of the ways we've done that is by including that network level advanced intrusion prevention.
Yeah, and I mean that's awesome, but let's dig right into the weeds, right? Most people in most homes have a smart home device, right? A smart home device sounds clunky, but all it really is a Ring doorbell, right? Or like recently, I just bought a smart sprinkler system, right? That sprinkler system is probably the device most vulnerable to getting hacked
Absolutely.
by other hackers, right? We read every week about an IoT device, right? There was the coffee maker that like got angry or something recently and like posted a ransom notice, a coffee machine, right? So that is part one of our many visions is to, of course, protect our users from the nasty stuff. And we do this by the advanced security that every J subscriber gets. Okay, that's one of the things. Having a vision is key. Make it actionable. Make it clean. Don't make it something, a 50-word blah blah blah. Right? Reduce it. Say it quickly. Right? Einstein says that the best ideas are commuted simply. Right? They're just very simple ideas. That leads us to the next step, Jordan.
Right. Before we go there, I just want to dive in. I just want to jump in here and say, make your vision, put it on one slide, make it one sentence, be able to share it in the hallway when you're communicating with a leader in your community, be able to share it with your lowest level CSR, Everyone should be bought into that vision of providing a unique subscriber experience. And then that goes to number 2, Josh, which is to act on your vision. I'll let you explain this.
Yeah, so here's basically we're acting on our vision by building good pipes. Now we call the pipe is essentially the term we use to describe that last mile link or the middle mile link between your OLT and your ONT, for example. It's the link between your access point in the sky and the module on the side of the house of the customer's home in a fixed wireless environment, right? That's the pipe. An internet provider has to have amazing pipes. The network plumbing has to be amazing, right? Those are table stakes now. Being reliable used to be something that someone could say, well, I'm more reliable than Jordan's.
Right? It was touted.
Yeah, it was something that was like, I'm just better at it than he am. All you're basically saying is I have better network plumbing, right? And one, the customer doesn't really know what that means. But 2 is it's table stakes now. You know what I mean?
Right. The example that I like to give is if you're an airplane company, the expectation is that your plane can fly, right? There are thousands of airplane companies that compete in the airline space for your travel dollars, just like we compete with other service providers for their communications dollars. You have to be able to do the function that you're existing in, your brand, your municipality, your whatever you're doing, do it really well. If not, you're not going to be able to compete and execute on the remainder of the themes here that we're talking about.
Yeah, so let me give 2 quick examples of acting on your vision. Part 1 is listen to your community, right? We've had so many community members say, we don't have broadband in our area. We don't have fiber. We don't have what we need in our area. So we listened and we went and we won grant funding from DORA, right? The broadband fund. And we're 4 out of 4 for broadband grants. And it's been about $6 million worth to bring fiber to almost 2,000 homes that otherwise wouldn't have had it. So that's digital transformation. We're acting on our promise of that high level vision of providing excellent, amazing experience to these users. And we're going out and we're doing the heavy lifting behind the scenes. I stayed up a lot of nights working on those grants, right? There's grants we filed 2 or 3 times that we lost initially and are refiled and we won. And we got them in the ground as quickly as possible, right? We're not giving up. And the second thing, I totally forgot.
Second thing is to leverage your partnerships in your community. Municipalities, you are part of this process. We cannot do our job unless we work together. If you want your community to thrive in the future, especially if you're a small mountain town, right now there is such a heavy emphasis on urban flight and moving away to a smaller, more rural, familiar community while also having the city job. We're expected as part of that conversation, right? They need to be able to have critical broadband infrastructure, digital transformation in action to do that. Municipalities work with us, find creative ways to go beyond the traditional, here's a filing of a permit. Create a relationship and work together to make your community thrive.
Yeah, it's a great point that we could talk for hours upon. I'm sure there's other webinars on those private partnership, blah, 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 right? Those are critical, but we're going to stay high level here. We'll move into option number 3. This is, I think, 3 and 4 are the real meat and potatoes of this talk. The third one is shifting the focus of your enterprise. Basically, I guess I'll take the point here where no longer can you worship the pipe, right? For so long, we have been so good at just saying, hey, I got a gigabit to that house. I buried fiber to that house. That's pretty cool. It is cool, but your customer expects more, right? How many people have you talked to, other service providers? They had a gig at their house and they're still unhappy. They had a gig at their house, but their Internet of Things device got hacked. They had a gigabit at their house and they churned out, and you spent all this money building to their home, right? You're worshiping the pipe, right? Worshiping the pipe is different from being customer obsessed, right? Subscriber obsession is completely different from bowing to the pipe.
Right, and a lot of this actually has to do with the history of our industry. For long periods of time, and this still exists, and it was trying to get broadband to folks who've never had it before. Colorado is one of those areas where we're still working to achieve that goal. But it's not just about delivering a 25 by 3 connection or any other speed metric. It's about providing a focused experience for that subscriber. So no matter what they do in their home, they have enough internet to do so. And they have a good experience with your brand all the way from the first bit of install through to the very end of the relationship with you.
Yeah, that's a great point. Now, points 3 and 4 are going to kind of intermingle. But point number 4 is a big one. And that Jordan already kind of touched on a little bit. Experience is everything, right? The experience your user has on your network and on your Wi-Fi is outweighs far anything that said, hey, we got 2 gig into their house, right? The customer could still be unhappy, right? That's because their experience is what matters, right? So the broadband industry is all about building relationships, right? We're not selling internet to a subscriber. We're selling internet to a friend, right? We're building relationships with the community. We're building relationships to people. We're meeting their needs and their community needs for them to thrive.
Absolutely. And one of the ways that we've done that is we've brought to market the new Jade Wi-Fi app that gives subscribers full control for the first time ever of their home. Subscribers get to see which devices are connected to their internet in real time, which devices are performing well on their network in real time, any intrusion or viruses that may be trying to hack into their network. But my favorite is when a new piece of device comes on the network, the home manager, the mom, the dad, whoever has the app on their phone, gets a notification.
That's pretty cool. So if I went to Jordan's house, Jordan gets a notification right when I walk in the door, Josh's iPhone has been connected to your network, right? That's amazing, right? And all in real time. Or I love the parental controls, right? That we can categorically say, hey, we can give the customers the power to say, you know what, you're getting internet, but you're getting so much more, right? We're gonna help you with your kids' TikTok obsession, right? We're gonna help you with blocking all the nasty stuff like porn and violence and booze, right? And other things.
Absolutely. But it doesn't stop there, right? The Wi-Fi experience is one part of your brand's experience and how customers feel about you. One thing that you should definitely draw out is their customer journey. What is that? It's the first point of contact that a consumer or a subscriber has with your brand, all the way through to their website visit, to their social media impression, to their application for service, to their installation, to their first service call and their first bill. And we go on and on and on and end in perpetuity until they terminate the relationship with you or until they recommend you to somebody else. Understanding pivotal points in that customer journey are critical to your success and your vision being actualized. If there's a huge break, if you have a billing issue, that's enough for a subscriber to quit.
Absolutely.
If you have an install appointment and you don't show up, that's enough for a subscriber to cancel their install. You need to understand that when your brand competes, it's not just competing against other brands that are in the space that you operate in, right? We don't just compete against other ISPs. We compete against every other brand in the world. What do I mean by that? The way that Southwest Airlines treats me, they make me feel valuable. They make me feel like I'm part of the family. They make me feel that I want to fly with them and nobody else. I expect other brands to treat me the same way. So Jade now has to compete with Southwest Airlines. Jade now has to compete with Ben & Jerry's. I love their ice cream. I do not buy store-bought ice cream. No. It's the same thing. It makes me feel, it tells me something about myself that I didn't know. Your brand has to now compete against other brands like that. Look outside of your industry. See what other people are doing. And if it's a good idea, integrate it into your strategy.
Yeah, now the best book, I'm an operations guy, so I'm all about like, wavelengths and blah, 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 blah. But Jordan made me read this book and it blew my mind, right? It's The Purple Cow by Seth Godin, right? The Purple Cow basically says everyone's a marketer, right? We don't say, Jordan in marketing, better go figure it out. No, I'm part of that customer's journey when they're on me in tech support, right? Or when I'm turning up a new service and it takes me 20 minutes instead of 5 minutes, right? Everyone is marketing. Marketing is no longer a pamphlet sent in the mail, right? It's a touch of your brand. Anytime your brand is out there for a customer to feel and to check out, that's marketing, right? So this brings up to a last point. John, I'm going to let you take this one.
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh. So the last point is this, is you have to have a vision. You have to execute on that vision and find creative ways to do so. You have to shift the focus of your organization to be in alignment with that vision. And then finally, experience is everything. It's not just about speed. It's not just about delivering pipes. But the fifth is crucial. It's the locking key. It's going to lock all those other four into place and hold them there. And it's getting the right people into the right roles on your team. Josh is really great at operations. I am not. I'm much better in the marketing space. But it doesn't mean that I only do marketing. It doesn't mean that Josh only does operations. As he mentioned, he does marketing by how he works with municipalities, how he works with customers. That's an influence and a touch point of our brand. Now, one of my favorite movies on the subject is Moneyball, featuring Brad Pitt. It talks about the Oakland A's and how they were able to field a successful team from unlikely sources. They didn't have to spend huge amounts of money. They didn't have to bring in outside consultants. What they did is they listened to their team. They found the resources within and put people into the roles that they can to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a point that I guess I've heard is it's totally easier said than done, right? Like you listen to any leadership talk and no one was talking about this, right? They said, don't put a center to be a quarterback, right? Like we hear this all the time, but this is actually really hard.
It is because you struggle with it
because you're dealing with people and people aren't robots. You can't be like, I want to move this person here and this person here. No, they got feelings and they can resist, they can embrace, right? So that this point, bring everyone on board. Listen more than you talk, right? And that's so hard. And just listen to your team, put people in the right places, put people where they want to play, right? A lot of times people will tell you where they want to play. And we've found success in that, but a word to the wise, this point here is difficult to implement because again, we're dealing with real people with real emotions, with real thoughts and real feelings, and people aren't robots.
Right. One of my favorite phrases to say is team of teams, right? We're not just one team. We're not the marketing team. We're not the operations team. It's all of those teams working together to achieve the vision we talked about in step one, right? It's listening, it's being a good leader, not just a manager, a good leader, understanding your team and the emotions and everything that plays into leadership, putting it all together and then executing on the vision that you've outlined. Josh and I have really enjoyed giving this presentation today. Of course, we're not experts. We don't have it figured out, but we have seen tremendous success to the point that we have communities asking us and begging us to build out to them because of the way that we treat them, because of the way that we treat our subscribers.
Yes, but notice what Jordan didn't say. He didn't say our community needs broadband, right? No, these communities are calling us because our brand has reinforced itself. It's changed itself. It's become subscriber obsessed, right? They're not calling us to say, hey, can you double us to 75 meg pipe? No, they're saying, hey, we want the Wi-Fi experience that we can only get with Jade, right? That's different, right? That is differentiated. It's unique. It's awesome. Well, quickly, do you want to recap what we went through real quickly?
Sure, absolutely. So the first thing we did was vision, right? You have to have a vision, make it measurable, make it actionable. Number two is to execute on that vision. Find creative ways, if you need to, through grants or other sources of funding to do so. Number three is to shift the focus of your organization to be in alignment with that vision. Number four is that experience is everything. Your brand has to compete with other people that offer a similar product or service as you. You better make it stand out. And number five is to put the right players in the right positions. It's critical to your success as an organization. And it's critical to the amount of influence that you're going to have in executing your vision.
Yeah. So we're going to stay around for the chat a little bit. If you want to chat us, ask any questions. I'm sure our emails are attached here to the Mountain Connect pamphlet. We are so happy to be here.
Absolutely. We're going to hang around for some question and answer. And if you have questions, let us know.